first off, I would like to say that raising minimum wage isn't a sufficient way of fixing the working class. Why? Because you just can't make a law to make people richer. You can't just heighten people's wages and expect that they will get paid those wages and that they will have job security. Because businesses will have to change their methods of payment for their workers, which will cause them to lose parts of their paychecks and even go out of business depending on the company. So, instead, according to the Census Bureau, roughly 60% of people living in poverty don't currently work, thus can't benefit from the raise in minimum wage, which means that there is a large percentage of people that aren't working, that are in the poverty, that live below the poverty level and can't be helped by the raise of minimum wage. And minimum wage can lead to job loss, which will cause more people to lose their jobs and be in poverty. We're trying to bring the working class out of poverty, but instead we're just going to put them into deeper poverty, which we don't want to do. And the CBO said there is a chance the job loss, well, Congressional Budget Office said there is a chance the job loss resulting from the higher minimum wage could be less than 500,000 or greater than 1 million jobs will be lost because companies can't afford the higher minimum wage. So basically speaking, some jobs will be lost. No one can actually determine how many jobs will be lost, but in the very end, jobs will be lost and people will be put into poverty, and the poverty issue won't be solved. And I believe poverty should be solved instead of just making the people who already have jobs that are secure richer, because chances are they already are richer, because full-time employees usually have higher incomes than part-time workers, which are also, what's it called, minimum wage earners. Research from economists at Florida State University and Miami University finds that 2/3 of minimum wage earners receive a bump in pay in their first 1 to 12 months on the job, which means most workers, if they're quality workers and they continue to work their minimum wage job, won't be paid minimum wage in a year. So depending on the person, you can't just go into a job and expect to have job security if you're not a good worker. So everyone won't have the ability to keep their wage of $7.25 as it is right now, or even if they raise it to 10, chances are they won't be able to keep their job because they have better employees and job security will be actually higher because the people already have a job, and people trying to get jobs, competition will be extremely high. Well, as I said, the minimum wage. Can you tell me my time?
You've got 2 minutes and 2:50.
Minimum wage increase will result in job loss. This isn't something we want. Raising minimum wage triggers inflation article. Okay, from the article, raise minimum wage triggers inflation. When prices hit in 2008, the minimum wage was $5.85. People lost their jobs, and 1 year later, government decides to raise it to $7.25, and people weren't no longer being hired because the wage was raised and the economy was in turmoil. same basic rule applies now. The economy is still in turmoil, which means that people won't be hired, which means we can't pull people out of unemployment. And another negative effect is people may lose their jobs. And also, federal minimum wage would be for the entire United States of America. United States of America is a large country with multiple states and multiple cities, all of them changing in housing prices and prices of living. So each state should have the ability to set their own minimum wage because it should be able to change from each state. And so far, states have done it. States where you need more money, you have more money, such as California, where the minimum wage is at $8.25 instead of $7.25, and then Northern California, where minimum wage is at the federal minimum wage, you can still live a decent life because it's enough to pay for housing and all groceries you need to survive. In the article, raising minimum wage is a bad idea by Ira Stoll, said that the cost of living, especially housing, vary from state to state, which proves my point that everywhere in America, the way of living can change, the price of living can change. So how can we just make certain areas richer and certain areas poorer than they should be? And that's the conclusion of my refutation. Thank you.